Divine Bridegroom, September 21st, 1991. After saying, "O Lord, I'm not worthy," the words, "Bridegroom of my soul," I heard. Yes, I am indeed the bridegroom of your soul, for I have, with your consent, espoused you to myself. My whole church is my bride, for I am indeed the heavenly bridegroom. And just like in any marriage, the groom takes care of his bride, or at least is supposed to, and his bride loves forever her spouse. Man and woman, being completely human and not divine, cannot have a divine espousal, for although their relationship can be somewhat spiritual, even this possibility can only occur if each is first espoused to the divine bridegroom. So, my child, mankind's marriage is a human espousal, while God's bride, His church, and all its members, is the divine espousal. When mankind is able to realize the dimensions of these words, or even partly, he is able to rise above the limitation of his earthly existence, and even while on earth, live to some extent the life of God's children made possible by this divine espousal. Look at my chosen priesthood and religions. They have, by their consent, said yes to this divine espousal, and have chosen in an extra special way to live this espousal alone, without any human espousal involved, to devote their full time in the marriage of spirit, and not being involved with the distractions of an earthly quest for nurturing of a family, and the time needed to support and tend the family's daily needs. So you see why it is better for my chosen ones to be free of this added work and toil in order to work more deeply in the church, the earthly family of God. Oh, a priest doesn't have less work to do, but sometimes much more, and are tending to not only the physical needs of a person at times, but the spiritual needs, the eternal needs, for without the continuing nurturing and feeding of the soul, the light of the Spirit is soon diminished, and the spark can be enkindled by the use of my sacrament, which my priest continues to administer to my family, that I might increase the divine espousals in my church, my bride, whom I love so dearly. Each and every part tugs at my heart, for just like a groom on his wedding has a great expectation in this unity of love. Yes, God's divine espousal is unity of love, for it is love that caused the world to exist and souls to be, yes, the eternal soul that I cherish so much. How sad it is to see a soul lost. It is almost like God fails, for when God gives free will, He gives the possibility of the act of no. But, even to the end, I give a soul a chance to say yes. And this is where my religious give their efforts to the procuring of extra graces for hardened sinners whose egos are so great that they think themselves the master of their own destiny. But what about death? They haven't learned to master themselves at this point, nor ever will, for life on earth has its limits, or the eternal would be only life on earth with all its pain and struggle. In order to open mankind's eyes to the reality of not being his own master, pain and struggle is indeed the eye-opener to many when it happens. And only by the grace of God can mankind, with his limitations, begin to understand and learn the true meaning of life's existence on earth. Existence in the eternal heaven is yet to be seen, for most eyes have not seen what God has in store for those who love Him. All people can love God, for they only have to ask for this ability to love me, and through the graces of the moment and the graces of my sacraments, this can be, and graces grow till divine espousal occurs when the great consent is there. Child, I've spoken mostly of priests and religious. My divine espousal is not limited to this part of my church, for in the degree you ask, seek, and knock, it is given you, and to all. A person involved in a human marriage is more occupied than a person alone, for there is the responsibility of the vocation of marriage, and the asking, seeking, and knocking may be more limited. So God, in His mercy, has given great graces to many souls who are in a position to ask, seek, and knock more. Some may be single, some with families grown, and some with husbands and wives deceased or separated, like you. You, my child, can serve my church, our church, in a special way, for the work of graces for needy souls and in the growth of holiness for God's children, your sisters and brothers on earth. First, accept for yourself what I am doing in your life, and listen more to my directions, for I am indeed your divine bridegroom who loves you so and wants only the best for you. Remember, Martha Charlotte. Mary has chosen the best part. Well, she is now Mary Martha, and you can certainly be Mary Charlotte, for you have, in many ways, chosen the better part, but are not living the reality of this existence. Today, you listened for a moment in the kitchen, and mostly believed when I said, when you dropped something, "These are great opportunities for obtaining graces, for you indeed are so limited, and the struggles and pain to do even things you took for granted are always with you." Remember, all things united with and given to your divine spouse is worth so much in this spiritual marriage and in the care and growth of the family of God, our family, littlest one, for you are indeed mine and a member of the family of God. So be happy where you are and with your service, and work for our family, for you are indeed so loved by God, and I'm your divine bridegroom who watches over you every moment.